Tonight, we're diving deep into why Pokémon Gold and Silver were the perfect sequels. For those of you who've been joining us consistently, I want to thank you for being such an integral part of our channel. If you're falling asleep with us tonight, let me know in the comments how many nights in a row you've been here. And if this is your first night, just comment day 1. Now let's get back to the video. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the year 1999. The world was standing on the precipice of a new millennium, caught between the analog comforts of the past and the digital uncertainties of the future. In the world of video games, a phenomenon had already taken hold that defied logic, a lightning-in-a-bottle moment that many critics dismissed as a passing fad. Pokémon Red and Blue had conquered the globe, turning schoolyards into trading hubs and black and white handheld screens into windows to another world. But as the initial fever began to stabilize, a heavy question loomed over the creators at Game Freak and the millions of fans worldwide. How do you follow perfection? How do you take a masterpiece that defined a generation and expand it without losing the soul of what made it special? The answer arrived in the form of Pokémon Gold and Silver, 2 cartridges that didn't just provide a sequel, but created a legend. These games represent perhaps the single most ambitious leap in the history of the franchise, a moment where the developers took every limitation of the hardware and shattered it through sheer creative will. Tonight we are going to journey back to the Johto region. We are going to explore the quiet, wind-swept streets of New Bark Town, the autumn leaves of Ecruteak City, and the dark, mysterious depths of the Whirl Islands. This isn't just a look at a video game, it is an immersion into a world that felt alive in a way few games ever have. We're going to examine why Gold and Silver are widely considered the perfect sequels, a masterclass in how to build upon a foundation while honouring the history that came before. It is a story of development hurdles, of a team pushed to their absolute limits, and of a legendary programmer who performed a digital miracle just to fit 2 worlds into one tiny plastic shell. As the soft glow of the screen fades and the familiar melodies of the Johto region begin to drift through the air, let yourself be carried away by the history, the lore, keen and the quiet magic of a journey that began 3 years after a boy from Pallet Town first stepped into the tall grass. The stakes for these games were impossibly high. By the late 90s, Pokémon wasn't just a game, it was a cultural juggernaut. But with that success came an immense pressure. If the sequel failed to capture the same sense of wonder, the entire franchise could have withered away. The developers at Game Freak, led by Satoshi Tajiri, were exhausted. They had spent years birthing the first generation, and now they were tasked with reinventing the wheel. They weren't just adding new monsters, they were trying to simulate a living, breathing world. They wanted the sun to rise and set in real time. They wanted the days of the week to matter. They wanted to create a sense of lineage, where the Pokémon you caught could fall in love, lay eggs, and pass their legacy down to a new generation. This wasn't just about catching them all anymore. It was about living among them. It was about the passage of time and the weight of history. But as development stretched on, the mystery deepened. Why did the games take so much longer than expected? What happened during those silent years between the first announcement at Nintendo Space World in 1997 and the eventual release in late '99? There were whispers of a game so large it couldn't fit on the cartridge. There were rumours of a hidden region, a secret return to the land we thought we had left behind. When players finally clicked those cartridges into their Game Boy Colors, they found a world that felt infinitely deeper than Kanto. They found a narrative that dealt with the remnants of a fallen criminal empire, the resurrection of ancient myths, and a rival whose journey was a dark mirror to their own. They found a game that didn't just end when the credits rolled, but instead opened a door to the greatest surprise in gaming history. The beauty of Gold and Silver lies in their atmosphere. There is a specific kind of melancholy and peace found in the Johto region, a sense of tradition and folklore that contrasts with the industrial, modern feel of Kanto. It is a land of pagodas and shrines, of legendary birds that dance in the Tin Tower, and beasts that roam the tall grass like shadows. It is a world where the past is always present. As we settle in for this deep dive into the lore and the history of the second generation, we will uncover the secrets of the unknown, the tragedy of the burned tower, and the silent vigil of a master trainer waiting at the peak of a snowy mountain. Whether you are a veteran who remembers the thrill of seeing your first shiny Pokémon, or a newcomer looking for a peaceful escape into one of gaming's most cherished eras, this is your invitation to return to a world of silver tides and golden skies. As the night deepens and the world outside grows still, let the sounds of Johto guide you. We're going back to a time when every patch of grass held a new discovery, when the ticking of an internal clock felt like the heartbeat of the game itself, and when we realized that the journey doesn't truly end until you face the person you used to be. This is the definitive story of Pokémon Gold and Silver. This is the history of the perfect sequels. Let the journey begin. By the end of 1998, Pokémon Red and Blue had swept across the world like a storm no one saw coming, selling more than 30 million copies and turning Pocket Monsters into a cultural force that dominated playgrounds, classrooms, and living rooms everywhere. You couldn't escape it. Kids trading cards on the bus, battling on the schoolyard blacktop, stickers plastered on notebooks, and that unmistakable chiptune theme echoing from every Game Boy in sight. Game Freak, a tiny team of just over a dozen developers, holed up in a modest Tokyo office, suddenly found themselves at the center of a frenzy they had never anticipated. Satoshi Tajiri, the insect-collecting dreamer who birthed this world from his childhood love of bug hunting in the Japanese countryside, and now faced the crushing weight of expectation. Craft a sequel that not only matched this phenomenon, but surpassed it, or risk letting the spark fizzle out. The pressure was unrelenting. Nintendo's executives leaned in hard, the media hounded for updates, and fans scribbled letters demanding more Pokémon, bigger adventures, deeper battles. Game Freak had poured their souls into Red and Blue, releasing them in Japan back in 1996, only to watch localization for the West stretch resources thin, while side projects like Pokémon Stadium pulled developers away. Whispers of burnout rippled through the team. Tajiri himself later admitted the exhaustion, but there was no pausing the machine. They started work on the sequel almost immediately after the original shipped. I'm aiming to double down on what made Pokémon addictive: the thrill of discovery, the bond with your team, the endless grind toward mastery. Yet Tajiri envisioned something grander, a definitive Pokémon experience that would squeeze every last drop of potential from the humble Game Boy hardware. No half measures. He wanted a world twice as vast, Pokémon that evolved in ways tied to time and friendship, regions that layered history upon history. The original Game Boy's green-tinted monochrome screen, with its flickering sprites and beepy soundtrack, was about to be pushed to breaking point. Glitchy frame rates be damned. They would make it feel alive. That vision got its first public tease at Nintendo Space World in November 1997, a sprawling expo hall in Chiba, where the air hummed with prototypes and prototypes. Tucked among flashy 3D demos for the upcoming Nintendo 64, Game Freak unveiled their sequel, tentatively slated for a March 1998 launch on the original Game Boy. Attendees huddled around demo kiosks, eyes widening at what they saw. A sprawling new region called Johto, shimmering with promise even in black and white. Starters like Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile scampered across screens, their animations smoother, their cries more varied. Gyms loomed with fresh leaders, wild encounters teamed with silhouettes of beasts never before glimpsed. Crobat's wicked wings, Donphan's armoured bulk, the ethereal Suicune gliding through misty roots. Battles popped with new moves, like a fiery sacred fire scorching foes, and the Pokédex counter ticked toward 251. But this was no mere expansion. It felt like a reinvention. The map sprawled wider than Kanto, with towers piercing foggy skies and lakes hiding ancient secrets. Roaming legendaries darted off screen just as you approached, a tease of hunts that could span hours. One demo even hinted at revisiting Kanto postgame, your grown team storming familiar gyms now remixed with evolved squads. Whispers spread through the crowd. This wasn't Pokémon 2.0. It was a beast straining at the seams of its monochrome cage, promising a definitive chase that would redefine what a Game Boy could do. Yet beneath the hype, cracks showed. The demo stuttered on the aging hardware, sprites clipped at edges, and colours, teased via Super Game Boy borders, promised more than the core tech could deliver. Nintendo smelled the limits. Just weeks later, they made the unprecedented move, a public apology for delaying the game indefinitely. "We want to make it even better," they said, citing developer fatigue but vowing quality over haste. Tajiri and his team seized the breathing room, pivoting dramatically to the newly announced Game Boy Color. This wasn't just a palette upgrade, it was salvation. The GBC's vibrant screen unlocked 16 shades per pixel, breathing life into Johto's landscapes. Lush forests in verdant greens, sunsets painting routes in oranges and purples, the legendary Ho-Oh's rainbow wings exploding in iridescent glory on the gold version box art. Silver's Lugia dove through oceanic blues, its psychic pulses rippling in hues the original Game Boy could only dream of. That shift rewrote the sequel's DNA. Features ballooned, a real-time clock dictating day-night cycles, where Hoothhoot only emerged under starry skies, and certain evolutions waited for dawn or dusk. Breeding at the daycare let you hatch eggs without trading away favourites. Friendship values deepened bonds for evolutions like Togepi from a happiness overflow. Shinies glimmered 1 in 4,000, a red Gyarados thrashing in rage at the Lake of Rage, a beacon of rarity that turned mundane grinds into treasure hunts. Game Freak transformed pressure into perfection over those 2 extra years, from 1997's raw demo to 1999's polished launch. The franchise's trajectory bent forever. No longer chained to monochrome drudgery, Pokémon could evolve into a Technicolor saga, blending nostalgia with innovation in ways that hooked generations. Johto wasn't just next door to Kanto, it was a bridge, pulling you back through time capsules to trade with your old red and blue saves, Pikachu zapping across eras. Tajiri's definitive vision crystallized. 251 souls in your Pokédex, a living world that breathed with the clock's tick. Rivals like Silver reforming through your guidance. The Game Boy Color didn't just extend the hardware's life, it launched Pokémon into a new epoch, where every held item, every weekly bug-catching contest, every post-game pilgrimage to Mount Silver against the Silent Red himself felt like destiny unfolding. And as that mountain summit beckons with the ultimate challenge, we step into a world forever altered, 3 years after the Kanto saga's close. Up next, a world in transition 3 years later, 3, where Johto awakens with legends stirring in the shadows and a reformed darkness plotting from the ruins. Game Freak didn't just meet the challenge of following Pokémon Red and Blue, they transcended it by pulling back the curtain on a world forever altered. 3 years after that silent protagonist scaled Victory Road and claimed the title of champion, the Pokémon universe breathes anew. Not in the steel spires and neon hum of Kanto, but in the whispering meadows of Johto. You awaken in New Bark Town, where the air carries the scent of fresh grass and distant sea salt, a far cry from the clamour of Saffron City's subways or the oily grind of Celadon factories. Dawn light filters through wooden shutters of humble homes clustered around a lazy river bend, their thatched roofs evoking tales your grandmother might spin by the fireside, or cherry blossoms drift lazily on the breeze, and the town's name whispers of beginnings untainted by the scars of ambition. This is no sprawling metropolis pulsing with electric ambition. It's a cradle of quiet potential, where the first cries of Cyndaquil echo like sparks from a storyteller's pipe. Why 3 years? Because time in the Pokémon world isn't frozen in the glow of a Game Boy screen. It's a river carving canyons through legend and legacy. Red's victory reshaped Kanto, but Johto slumbers in the shadow of ancient myths, its folklore woven into every stone and stream. Developers chose this deliberate leap forward to honour the original tale while forging ahead, letting the dust settle on Indigo Plateau so you step into a land ripe for rediscovery. Red himself lingers as a distant echo, his silhouette etched on Mount Silver's peak. But here in New Bark, the story resets with tender innocence. A blank Pokédex, a mother's gentle nudge toward adventure, and the weight of unspoken history pressing like morning mist. Step inside Professor Elm's laboratory, tucked beside the Pokémon Center like a sage's hermitage amid the wild grasses. Elm, with his tousled hair and wire-rimmed glasses fogged from fervent sketches, embodies Johto's bridge between old wisdom and budding curiosity. Unlike the austere oak of Pallet Town, whose domain hummed with the precision of Kanto's labs, Elm's workspace spills over with Johto's rustic charm, shelves groaning under clay pots of rare herbs, maps yellowed by folklore scrolls depicting unknown runes and spectral beasts. He's the guardian of Johto's genesis, handing you not just a Pokeball, but a choice that roots you in this new soil. And meet Chikorita, the leaf-wreathed bay starter whose vine tail sways like a diviner's rod, promising healing breezes and forests that sing back. Or Cyndaquil, that timid ember on 4 paws, its back igniting in shy flares that dance like fireflies over Kansai rice fields, inspired by the very heartlands of Japan that birthed these tales. And Totodile, the jaws-snapping imp with eyes full of mischief, ready to chomp through river currents and rival egos alike. These 3 aren't mere palette swaps from Bulbasaur's line, they're Johto's soul made flesh, each evoking the region's cycles of growth, fire festivals and watery shrines. Elm entrusts one to you, his voice warm with the gravity of tradition. Take good care of it, I know you will. But linger outside and the world hints at shifts deeper than a professor's gift. Swar-blue clouds streak a sky where Hoothoot perches only at dusk, their calls a harbinger of nights yet to unfold. Fishermen at the wharf mutter of slowpoke tales fetching black market prices up north, a subtle rot beneath the pastoral veil. The radio crackles faintly from a neighbour's window, broadcasting tales of burned towers' eternal flames, where beasts of legend rose from ashes long ago. Even the wild centret darting through tall grass seem watchful, as if sensing the currents of change eddying from Kanto's old shadows into Johto's folklore-laden heart. This transition isn't abrupt, it's a masterful sleight of hand, swapping Kanto's concrete jungles for Johto's shrine-dotted hills, where every path winds past Torii gates and weathered obelisks. Urban sprawl yields to rural reverence, factories to festivals, where the clank of Lieutenant Zurge's war machines fades into the chime of Bellsprout windsocks. Yet the past whispers through. Trade a Kanto native, here via time capsule, and it thrives anew, breeding eggs that carry echoes of Pallet Town. 3 years have greened the wounds of Giovanni's empire, but rumours stir. Team Rocket's remnants slink in alleys, their plans coiled like Eakins in the underbrush. As you clutch your starter's Pokeball and gaze west toward Cherry Grove's lantern glow, the world feels alive with possibility, time's gentle hand turning the page. New Barktown stands as the perfect prelude, a breath before the storm, where folklore awakens and legacies intertwine. And soon, you'll discover how even the stars above wheel in rhythm with this evolving saga, pulling you into Chapter 3. The clock that never stops. What secrets does that relentless tick hide in Johto's shadowed hours? As you step out from Professor Elm's lab in New Barktown, the sun hangs low over Johto's rolling hills, casting long shadows across the wild grass where your first Pokémon stirs with quiet anticipation. 3 years have passed since Red silenced the storms of Kanto, and here in this land, steeped in ancient tales, time itself becomes your constant companion. A relentless, ticking presence woven into the very fabric of the world. Game Freak didn't just build a new region, they embedded a revolutionary, real-time internal clock, the first of its kind in any Pokémon game. Powered by the Game Boy Color's hardware, this clock synced with your handheld's battery-backed memory, tracking hours, days, and even weeks as you played. Turn off your console after a long session battling through Violet City, and when you return, the world has shifted without you. Dawn breaks over Ecruteak City's dance theatre, or twilight drapes the bell tower in mystery. It's no mere gimmick. This ceaseless rhythm pulls you deeper into immersion, making Johto pulse with a life that defies the static screens of Kanto. Picture the day-night cycle, transforming every route and town you traverse. During the bright hours, the paths bustle with familiar faces, Pidgey fluttering in the breeze, Rattata darting through underbrush. But as evening falls, the palette darkens. The sky bruises to deep indigo, stars prick the horizon, and the music swells into haunting nocturnes. Grass rustles with unseen movements, and the map evolves before your eyes. Even when you're away, tending to real-life chores or drifting off to sleep, Johto endures. Farmers in Olivine City pack away their wares, the lighthouse beam sweeps the sea in rhythmic sweeps, and nocturnal whispers hint at secrets, unfolding in your absence. This cycle wasn't just visual flair, it reshaped how you felt the world breathing, urging you to return not out of obligation, but curiosity. What has changed while you slumbered? Nowhere does this feel more enchanting or eerie than in the company of Johto's time-sensitive Pokémon. Venture out after dusk, and you'll hear it first, the soft hoot echoing from shadowed oaks along Route 31. Hoot Hoot perches on branches, its red eyes glowing like embers in the night, a nocturnal owl Pokémon that vanishes with the dawn. Why does it shun the light? Legends whisper of ancient guardians tied to Johto's towers, creatures bound to the moon's pull. Pair it with its evolution, Noctowl, and suddenly your team navigates the dark with preternatural sight. But Hoot Hoot is just the gateway to Johto's midnight menagerie. Stantler graze in moonlit herds on Route 36, their antlers weaving illusions from the mist. Murkrow caws from telephone wires, omens of mischief in the gloom. And deeper still, in the whispering caves of Dark Cave, Zubat swarms intensify under cover of night. Their echolocation, a symphony of the subterranean dark. The atmosphere after dark turns Johto into a realm of subtle chills. Ecruteak streets empty, save for the faint glow of lanterns swaying in the wind, while the burned tower looms like a skeletal sentinel, its charred timbers creaking with memories of the beasts that once raged within. Ho-Oh's rebirth and the thunder beasts awakening. Sprint through the grass too late, and unseen eyes watch from the fringes. Slow your pace and the world's quiet menace envelops you. This isn't terror for terror's sake, it's immersion that lingers, making every power-off feel like stepping away from a dream still unfolding. Players spoke of it in hushed forums back in 2000. The compulsion to check their Game Boy at midnight, just to glimpse Johto's veiled face. Yet the clock's genius extends beyond daily rhythms, weaving in weekly events that cement the illusion of a truly living world. Tuesdays, Thursdays and Saturdays draw you to the national park between Goldenrod and Ecruteak for the bug-catching contest. Crowds gather under colourful banners as the park warden releases a frenzy of Caterpie, Weedle and rare Pinsir into the tall grass. You have precisely 20 minutes, synced to the internal clock, to capture the strongest, largest or most beautiful bug Pokémon. Judged on the spot amid cheers and rustling leaves. Win and prizes like sunstones or rare evolutionary items await, but lose and the event slips away until next week. It's a ritual that mirrors real festivals, pulling you back at appointed times. your calendar now entwined with Johto's. Fridays bring another pulse of life to the seas. Dock at Olivine Port, and if the stars align with the clock's count, the SS Aqua glides into harbour from Kanto, its horns blaring triumphantly. Passengers disembark with tales of distant shores, and you board for a voyage to Vermilion City, waves rocking the deck as Sudowoodo blocks mysteriously appear on Route 47. These moments aren't scripted triggers. They're emergent surprises rewarding patient players who let days pass in-game, who breed an egg at the daycare and return weeks later to find it hatched into a Larvitar or Dratini, its growth tied to elapsed time. Even evolutions bend to the clock's will. Eevee basking in sunlight becomes Espeon, while Midnight's Embrace yields Umbreon, their forms shimmering with temporal magic. This living world concept elevated Gold and Silver beyond sequels into something profound, a Pokémon universe that aged alongside you. Roaming legendaries like Raikou and Entei prowled the map ceaselessly, their positions advancing with every real-world minute you spent away. The radio in your Pokégear crackled with whole lure contests or lucky numbers drawn hourly, broadcasting a Johto alive with chatter. Developers at Game Freak poured those extra years of delay from the 1997 demo to the 1999 launch into perfecting this system, ensuring the battery lasted through countless adventures. It transformed passive play into a relationship where turning off the game felt less like escape and more like leaving friends to their own unfolding stories. In these cycles of light and shadow, weekly whispers and relentless ticks, Johto revealed its deepest lore. Time as the great storyteller, echoing the folklore of burned towers and bell chimes. Redemption, arcs of fallen beasts, and the quiet growth of bonds. You felt the pull already, the owl's call at dusk, the ship's distant horn, but the true marvels await in the creatures themselves. Join me next in Chapter 4, the 100 New Faces of Johto, where we'll meet the fresh Pokémon that populated this timeless land. From humble starters to legendary enigmas that redefined what catching them all could mean. As that internal clock ticked forward, marking the rise and fall of Johto's sun, a whole new menagerie stirred to life in the grass, rivers, and shadows around you. 100 fresh faces joined the original 151, not as rivals, but as perfect companions, each one handcrafted to weave deeper into the tapestry Kanto had spun. These new Pokémon didn't just fill empty slots in your Pokédex, they honoured what came before, while pushing boundaries Game Freak had only dreamed of 3 years earlier. Take Crobat, for instance, emerging from the humble Zubat lineage that plagued Kanto's darkest caves. Back then, Zubat and Golbat were relentless pests, and their high speed and poison stings wearing down even seasoned trainers. But in Johto, friendship became the key. Nurture Golbat's happiness through battles and vitamins, and it evolves into Crobat, faster still with a sleek, leathery wingspan that slices through air like a whisper. Its evolution, not just by level or stone, but by bond, mirroring the trust you build with your own team as days turn to weeks on the trail. Steelix follows a similar path, twisting Onyx's rocky coils into a behemoth armoured in glittering metal. Trade an Onyx holding a metal coat and watch it burrow through mountains, its defence unyielding as Johto's ancient peaks. These extensions weren't random, they fixed gaps in the original roster. Kanto's rock and ground types felt sparse, their evolution stunted. Now, with Steelix rumbling beneath your feet and Crobat darting overhead, those lines feel complete, urging you to revisit old favourites through the time capsule, trading back evolutions that demand this new world's tools. Then came the babies, those pint-sized wonders like Togepi, hatching from eggs at the daycare, with a sparkle in their eyes and a clutch of destiny in their tiny hands. Cleffa bounces like a fallen star, Pichu sparks with tentative jolts that might shock itself more than foes, and Magby hiccups embers that hint at fiery futures. These weren't mere cute additions, They introduced breeding as a mechanic, letting you pair Pokémon in the Golden Fields outside Violet City, waiting days for eggs that carry the essence of parents long parted. Suddenly, that starter you cherished from New Barktown could multiply, passing traits through generations, turning your journey into a legacy. It softened the sting of trades, made every encounter feel fertile with possibility, as if Johto itself was nurturing life alongside you. Game Freak drew from Japan's whispering folklore for these designs, infusing them with spirits that haunted rural nights. Hoothoot's mismatched eyes peer from twilight branches, echoing the one-legged Tengu of Mountain Tales, while its evolution, Noctowl, glides silent as a guardian yokai. Yanma buzzes through forests like the dragonfly samurai of old legends, its compound eyes catching every flicker. Rural wildlife grounded them too. Centrep pops up from prairie holes, like a meerkat scout, Furret's elongated body slipping through underbrush with the grace of a weasel in wheat fields. These weren't exotic beasts from distant lands. They mirrored the Kansai countryside Tajiri knew, blending everyday critters with myth to make Johto breathe authenticity. Elemental storytelling pulsed through their veins, each type a chapter in nature's saga. The legendary beasts, Raiku's thunderous paws echoing Entei's volcanic roar, and Suicune's purifying gales, embody raw forces reborn from the burned tower's ashes, their roaming forms chasing you across misty moors under starlit skies. Baby lines like the elemental trio of Elekid, Magby, and Smoochum foreshadowed their mighty evolutions, teaching you patience as sparks, flames, and frost mature over time. But the true genius lay in strategy, with dark and steel types forged to shatter Psychic's dominance. Kanto's psychic Pokémon had reigned supreme, their special attacks piercing every defense, eggs leaving ghosts and fighters scrambling. Enter Umbreon, Eevee's nocturnal shadow, its dark rings pulsing with cunning that shrugs off psychic probes. Murkrow caused mischief from Eeves, picking at foes' weaknesses like a sly corvid thief. Steel types like Skarmory's razor feathers and Forretress's ironclad shell turned battles into sieges, resisting a dozen types while hammering psychics into submission. These weren't band-aids. They rebalanced the meta overnight, forcing trainers to rethink teams, weaving Dark's sly disruptions and Steel's unbreachable fortitude into every gym gauntlet. Girafarig's dual-faced form, with a psychic tail that bites back, captured this tension perfectly. Innocent herbivore by day, predatory instinct lurking behind. Dunsparce, that serpentine oddity slithering through soil, hid dragon whispers in its wings, Yam hinting at evolutions yet to come. Even the humble Wooper, splashing in Johto's ponds with a dopey grin, evolves into Quagsire, a water-ground tank that laughs at electric surges, its glossy skin evoking rain-soaked paddies after a storm. Mantine glides oceanic currents like a manta ray myth, Skarmory's plumage clanging like temple bells in wind. The new bark starters themselves, Chikorita's leafy fan cooling fevers, Cyndaquil's backflame igniting hidden paths, Totodile's jaws snapping with playful ferocity, grew into Meganium's floral auras, Typhlosion's spectral blaze, and Feraligatr's brutal grapples, each tying back to Kanto's grass-fire-water roots, but amplified with Johto's heart. This 100-strong influx didn't overshadow the originals, it elevated them. Your Kanto trades now bloomed into powerhouses. Babies begged for nurture under the clock's watchful eye, and new types redrew battle lines. Johto's wilds teemed with purpose, every rustle promising a design that respected the past while inviting you deeper into uncharted lore. Yet amid these vibrant newcomers, darker forces simmer, waiting to exploit the fragile piece you've carved. In the next chapter, Shadows of the Past, the return of Team Rocket uncover how a fallen empire claws back from obscurity, their schemes twisting Johto's harmony into chaos you alone can unravel. while the new Pokémon of Johto brought fresh life to your Pokédex, filling it with evolutions like the venomous Crobat gliding through dark caves and the unbreakable Steelix coiling beneath the earth. Not every encounter in this region promised friendship or growth. Some creatures, hidden in the quiet corners of Johto, would become pawns in a far darker game, their tails severed for black market profit as echoes from Kanto's past clawed their way back into the light. 3 years have passed since Red stood victorious on the peak of Victory Road, his Pikachu crackling with the electricity of triumph. Giovanni, the iron-fisted boss of Team Rocket, vanished in the wake of that defeat, his vast criminal empire crumbling like a house of cards caught in a sudden gale. The organisation that once operated as a sleek corporate mafia with hidden labs and uniformed grunts patrolling Saffron City's silhouette lay in tatters. Executives scattered, loyalists went underground, and the once mighty Raiden enforcers now scavenged for scraps. But desperation breeds resolve, and in the shadows of Johto, as these remnants began to regroup, whispering plans of resurgence amid the rustle of traditional shrines and fog-shrouded wells, you first sense their return not in grand announcements or towering headquarters, but in the damp chill of Azalea Town's Slowpoke Well. Picture the scene, a narrow spiral of caverns plunging deep into the hillside, where the air hangs heavy with the echo of dripping water and the distant, mournful moans of Slowpoke. These pink, perpetually dopey Pokémon cluster here by the dozens, their tails dangling lazily into the pools below, regenerating slowly over days or weeks. To the locals, they're a quirky fixture, a source of folk tales about absent-minded sages who forget their own names. But to the new breed of Team Rocket operatives, here's their merchandise, tales prized in Johto's gourmet markets for their supposed aphrodisiac qualities, fetching fortunes on the underground trade. It starts with reports of missing Slowpoke, their numbers thinning as grunts descend the ladder into the well's murky depths. Kurt, the eccentric Pokeball craftsman living nearby, notices the vanishings first, his apricorns left unharvested. You descend after him, flashlight beam cutting through the gloom, only to stumble upon Proton, one of the fresh executives rising to fill Giovanni's void. His voice sneers from the darkness, cold and calculated as his weeping bell lashes out with acidic vines. These aren't the bumbling goons of Kanto. Proton's team moves with lethal precision, severing tails with surgical efficiency, while Slowpoke float oblivious, a blood trailing into the water like ink in milk. Each tail yanked free is a grim transaction, packed into crates for shipment to shadowy buyers, turning Pokémon exploitation into a ruthless profit scheme that chills the spine. This incident marks the shift in Team Rocket's soul. Gone is the polished mafia veneer of Giovanni's era, with its Silphco takeovers and casino fronts. Now they're a fractured insurgency, splintered cells operating from concealed outposts in Johto's wilds, abandoned power plants humming with stolen generators, lakeside warehouses veiled by mist. The executives, Proton with his venomous glee, Ariana's sultry menace, Petrel's slippery deceptions, Archer's unyielding command, each embody a piece of the old regime's fracture, driven by ambition rather than loyalty. They plot not from a central throne, but from the edges, striking fast and fading into the night, their black R emblazoned on uniforms frayed from constant flight. At the heart of their desperation pulses a profound mystery. Giovanni himself, the vanished kingpin whose absence haunts every strategy session. Is he dead, defeated in some unseen exile, or licking wounds in a distant lair, awaiting the signal to reclaim his crown? To find him, they seize the airwaves, hijacking Goldenrod City's towering radio tower under the cover of a professor's disguise. The signal blasts across Johto, a looping Morse code plea disguised as static bursts. Coordinates, frequencies, a call to any rocket holdout still loyal. You infiltrate amid the chaos, battling through disguised grunts and executive showdowns, unplugging their broadcast just as the message nears completion. But the damage lingers. What if Giovanni hears it from wherever he hides, drawn back by the siren song of his fractured flock? This resurgence weaves nostalgia with dread, pulling you back to Kanto's villains while twisting them into something leaner, hungrier. Team Rocket's schemes exploit Johto's folklore-rich underbelly, the slowpoke tales echoing ancient harvest rituals gone profane, the radio signals mimicking ghostly transmissions from ruined towers. Their ruthlessness tests your growth as a trainer, pitting your new Johto companions against foes wielding familiar shadows like Subat swarms amplified by dark intent. Every victory severs a link in their chain, but the question gnaws. Can you dismantle them before Giovanni's shadow lengthens once more? As you emerge from these subterranean horrors, tales of ancient calamities begin to surface, whispers of a tower consumed by flames long ago. In our next chapter, The Legend of the Burned Tower, will uncover the scorched origins of legendary beasts that still haunt Johto's nights. What fiery apocalypse birthed the roaming thunder beasts, and how it ties into the unrest rippling through the land. As those fractured remnants of Team Rocket slink through Johto's underbelly, plotting their resurgence from hidden corners, your path leads you northward to a city that pulses with the weight of centuries. Reconnect City stands as Johto's true cultural heart, a place where the air hangs heavy with incense from ancient shrines, and the distant chime of bells echoes like forgotten prayers. Unlike the bustling ports and gyms of Kanto, Reconnect feels timeless. Its streets lined with dance theatres where kimono girls perform rituals passed down through generations, their graceful movements honouring spirits long departed. Traditional lanterns sway in the breeze, casting flickering shadows on wooden facades that whisper of Japan's own Kansai heartland, where folklore and history intertwine like roots beneath the earth. You arrive here after crossing misty routes and shadowed forests, drawn by rumours of twin towers that pierce the skyline, one scorched and ruined, the other gleaming white against the horizon. These are the Brass Tower and the Bell Tower, siblings in stone born from legend, said to have been built by humans in an age when Pokémon and people lived in perfect harmony. The Brass Tower, once a beacon of that unity, drew powerful beasts to its peak, guardians who watched over the land. But harmony shattered one fateful night when lightning cracked the sky and flames erupted from within. A catastrophic fire raged through the tower, claiming the lives of 3 nameless Pokémon who had gathered there, towering beasts of lightning, fire and water, their forms lost to the blaze. The structure crumbled, leaving only charred bones and a smouldering husk that locals still call the Burned Tower. Word of the disaster spread like wildfire itself, reaching even the divine. Ho-Oh, the majestic rainbow Pokémon and guardian of Johto's skies, descended in grief and fury. Touched by the tragedy, it breathed life back into the fallen trio, resurrecting them not as they were, but transformed, infused with the raw elements of their demise. From the ashes rose Raikou, the thunder Pokémon, its sleek yellow fur crackling with electric fury, eyes glowing like stormlit sabres. Entei emerged next, a volcanic lion of molten rock and blazing mane, its roar shaking the earth with infernal heat. And Suicune, the Aurora Pokémon, graceful and serene, its crystalline body shimmering with cascading water, purifying the scorched ground in its wake. These 3 legendary beasts, bound by tragedy and rebirth, now roam Johto's wilds endlessly, elusive shadows fleeing from the site of their origin. You step into the Burned Tower yourself, the floor littered with debris and faint embers still glowing in the cracks. The air tastes of soot and mystery, and as you climb its precarious levels, battling wild Pokémon drawn to the ruins, a tremor shakes the foundations. Suddenly they appear, Raikou Entei Suikune, materializing in a flash of light, their cries echoing through the hollow shell. But they do not stay. With a surge of power, they vanish, scattering across Johto's vast map, forever roaming. This is no simple encounter like the frozen caves of Kanto's legends. Game Freak introduced a groundbreaking mechanic here. These beasts wander freely, their positions shifting with every step you take, every route you traverse. Your Poké Gear radio crackles with sightings from NPCs, urging you to chase them across plains, mountains, and seas. Catch one, and the others flee faster, their AI adapting to your progress, turning the entire region into a living hunt. It's a thrill that demands patience and strategy, a far cry from static legendary guardians. This myth of the burned tower weaves a tapestry of ancient history that Kanto never quite captured. Where the first generation offered badges and badges alone, Johto drapes its world in layers of lore, towers built by forgotten kings, Pokémon resurrected by gods, events tied to cycles of destruction and renewal. Ecruteak becomes a crossroads of that depth. Visit the dance theatre, and kimono girls test your team before granting passage. Climb the bell tower later, and you'll face trials echoing Ho-Oh's grace. The brass tower's tale instills a sense of Johto as a land steeped in the past, where every ruin hides a story, every Pokémon a piece of eternity. It grounds the sequels in mythology, making your journey feel like uncovering lost scrolls rather than just collecting creatures. The ghosts of that fire linger too, subtle nods to impermanence, the beast's restless wandering mirroring Johto's theme of time's unyielding flow, from the clock in your bag to the seasons turning overhead. Locals speak of them in hushed tones around Ecruteak's wells, warning that disturbing the towers invites unrest. And unrest is brewing as those Team Rocket shadows you've been tracking begin to circle this sacred ground, their ambitions clashing with legends older than their fallen boss. But the flames of change spread beyond these ruins, igniting fury in distant waters. Up next, Chapter 7. The Red Gyarados and the Lake of Rage, a shimmering aberration that signals Rocket's darkest experiments, pulling you into a storm you won't see coming. As the flames of the burned tower fade into legend behind you, your path northward through Johto's misty highlands pulls you toward Mahogany Town, a quiet logging settlement shrouded in perpetual fog from the surrounding pines. But before the town's edge, the air grows thick with an unnatural roar, yet echoing across the water like thunder trapped in a storm. You reach the Lake of Rage, its surface boiling under a blood-red sky, and there it rises, a colossal serpent, scales gleaming not the deep blue of its kin, but a vibrant crimson that defies nature itself. The red Gyarados thrashes wildly, sending waves crashing against the shore, its eyes wild with fury as fishermen scatter in panic. This isn't just any rampage. You stand transfixed as the beast coils and uncoils, its roars shaking the pebbles under your feet, a living symbol of something deeply wrong in Johto's waters. In a moment that etches itself into every player's memory, you send out your strongest Pokémon, the screen pulsing with the intensity of the forced encounter. No fleeing this time, it's a battle you can't avoid. In level 30 rampaging at 20 times its usual strength, Hydro Pump blasting like a tidal wave, Dragon Rage scorching the air. Victory comes hard, but as it sinks beneath the waves, defeated yet alive, the true shock lingers, its colour. That impossible red, shimmering under the game's new light. Shiny Pokémon had arrived, unveiled here at the Lake of Rage in a mechanic that turned catching into obsession. 1 in 86,000 odds, a subtle palette swap triggered by hidden values in the code, invisible until this moment. Gold and Silver didn't just introduce them, they made them story. No random grass patch sparkle. This Gyarados screams anomaly, a genetic freak born from tampering, pulling you straight into Team Rocket's web. Collectors worldwide chase that red gleam, resetting saves obsessively, trading frenziedly, the thrill of rarity layering endless replayability onto the world. It transformed Pokémon from collection to hunt, a perfect sequel hook that echoed through every generation after. Word spreads fast among the shaken locals. The old fisherman by the shore mutters about strange lights under the waves at night, chemicals dumped from mahogany's shadows. You investigate, skirting the lake's edge where Sudowoodo once blocked lesser paths, now parted by your growing mastery. A hidden house yields clues, a journal scrawled with rocket insignia, notes on radio evolution waves, experiments forcing Magikarp into Gyarados prematurely, rage induced by electromagnetic pulses. These aren't natural evolutions, they're weapons, bred for fury in Rocket's grasp, the red hue a side effect of their twisted science. Pushing into Mahogany Town, the fog clings heavier, shops shuttered, gym leader Price absent amid whispers of blockage ahead. A suspicious shop in the corner, its wares oddly stocked with Ultra Balls and protein, too convenient for a backwater store. Poke the right spots and the floor gives way, plunging you into a labyrinthine hideout beneath the streets. Team Rocket's grunts swarm these chilled tunnels. Their Persian and Raticate evolved beyond normal limits, guarding machinery humming with illicit power. You battle through, the air metallic with ozone, past elevators disguised as warehouses, uncovering vats where slowpoke tails are severed for black market yen, their psychic cries muffled by greed. Deeper still, the experiments unfold in horrifying detail. Rocket scientists fiddle with devices, amplifying radio signals, warping evolution itself. Not just Gyarados, but plans for an army of hyper-evolved beasts under their control. Proton sneers from the shadows, his coughing belching poison gas. You thwart him, seizing a key that unlocks the core. But escape draws Lance, the Dragon Master himself, his cape billowing as he descends like a spectre from Dragon's Den. Clad in crimson, Dragonite at his side, he reveals he's been tracking Rocket's resurgence, their signals disrupting Johto's balance. No coincidence he waited here. Your defeat of the Gyarados proved your worth. Together, you forge an alliance born of necessity. Lance hands you the Super Rod, but more crucially, HM for Surf and Whirlpool, tools to navigate the fury ahead. He shares intel on Rocket's grander scheme. Their hideout a mere cog in a machine aimed at global domination. Infiltrate the lake's rage cabin, Sword now unmasked as their outpost, and shut down the pulsing generator at its heart. A machine blasting waves that force evolutions across the water, turning docile Magikarp into berserkers. Surf across the now calm lake, dive into the underwater crevice, and face the Fury Cannon's wrath. Golbat swarms and electrode blasts testing your tandem prowess. With Lance's Dragonite clearing the path, you sever the cables, silencing the hum that birthed the red beast. Rocket's local operation crumbles, but Lance warns of their true stronghold, executives plotting from afar. Price returns, his dugong and frostless evolutions thawed by your heroism, badge in hand. The town breathes again, fog lifting slightly, but the Alliance steels you for the inevitable clash. This red beacon didn't just rage, it ignited the Team Rocket climax, forcing evolutions mirroring the series' own growth from Kanto's shadows. Yet as Mahogany's secrets settle, radio chatter crackles faintly from Goldenrod afar, hinting at a siege brewing on the waves of broadcast domination. In Chapter 8, the Radio Tower Siege, you'll storm the heart of their empire, where voices twist into weapons and the reformed Rocket bares its fangs fully. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. Beneath the snowy peaks of Mahogany Town, you've just shattered Team Rocket's underground lair, their twisted experiments on the Lake of Rage laid bare before the world. But these remnants of Giovanni's empire aren't done yet. Their rage boils over, propelling them straight to the heart of Giotto's bustling metropolis, Goldenrod City. There the radio tower stands tall, a colossal spire broadcasting news, music, and signals across the region. Team Rocket seizes it in a brazen coup, disguising grunts as staff, locking down elevators, and hijacking the airwaves to issue their ultimatum. You arrive amid the chaos, the city's usual hum replaced by static-laced proclamations from the speakers. Rocket members swarm the lobby, their black uniforms stark against the polished marble floors. They block your path with smirks and pokeballs at the ready, but you're no stranger to their tactics now. Fighting floor by floor, you ascend through corridors, alive with the crackle of electricity from sparking wires and the distant thrum of generators straining under sabotage. Each level peels back another layer of their desperation. Their plan isn't just takeover, it's a call to arms, a desperate broadcast to summon their vanished boss from the shadows of Kanto. Deeper inside, the air grows thick with tension, fluorescent lights flickering as alarms wail faintly. Proton awaits on the second floor, his gravelly voice echoing off the walls. That smug executive, with his coughing belching poison clouds and his weeping bell snapping venomous vines, throws everything at you in a haze of toxic fury. He's the muscle, the frontline brute who guarded the lake's horrors, and his defeat cracks the first real fissure in their defences. But victory here only unlocks the stairwells upward, where Petrol lurks like a ghost in the machine. Petrol, the mimic master, corners you amid server banks humming with stolen data. His grin widens as he cycles through disguises, first a janitor, then a director, before unleashing his Golbat swarm and Arbok coils. The battle unfolds in a whirlwind of shadows, his Pokémon striking from blind spots, while he taunts you about Rocket's unbreakable loyalty. You press on, his fall echoing through the vents, but the tower's core pulses stronger now, the broadcast growing more frantic. They've rigged the system to beam a signal far beyond Giotto, a piercing frequency meant to reach one man alone, Giovanni. The stakes climb with Ariana on the upper levels, her presence chilling the stairwell like winter frost. She's the strategist, all cold and calculating, her Arbok mirroring Petrol's but evolved into something deadlier, flanked by a hulking Vileplume spreading sleep-inducing spores. The air chokes with pollen and fury as she hisses about reclaiming their glory, her eyes burning with the betrayal of their leader's absence. Defeating her feels like severing a nerve. Doors hiss open, but the emotional undercurrent hits harder. These aren't faceless thugs anymore. They're the last pillars holding a crumbling dream. Finally, the pinnacle. Archer, the iron-fisted commander, guards the director's suite turned war room. His Houndoom howls, flames across the carpeted floors, his coughing duo exploding in black smoke that stings your eyes. He's the pinnacle of their revival. Voice steady as he declares this broadcast their final gambit. Maps of Giotto sprawl across tables, demarked with failed hideouts from the lake to mahogany. You clash in a blaze of embers and shadows, his Pokémon pushing you to your limits, each command laced with the weight of 3 years' pent-up vengeance. With Archer crumpled, the broadcast console looms, glowing screens flickering with static, speakers crackling their looped message. Team Rocket's executives have poured their souls into this, a worldwide summons for Giovanni, promising loyalty, power, untold riches from Slowpoke tales and beyond. You flip the switches, silence the signal, and in that moment, the true heartbreak unfolds. No response comes, no silhouette emerges from the void. Giovanni, the untouchable king who fled Kanto defeated, remains gone, absent, indifferent, a ghost who abandoned his flock. The executives' faces twist in the aftermath, not just defeat, but shattering realization. Proton snarls about betrayal, Petrol laughs bitterly through his defeat. Ariana whispers of wasted years, and Archer stands resolute, yet broken, ordering a full retreat. Team Rocket scatters from the tower like smoke on the wind, their black balloons drifting into the goldenrod sunset. Giotto exhales. The smuggling rings dismantled, experiments ended, signals silenced. But this isn't mere victory, it's dissolution. The organisation that terrorised Kanto, left dangling in ambiguity after the Elite Four's triumph, finds its end here. Gold and silver deliver the closure the originals withheld. Wrapping threads left frayed, Giovanni's empire crumbles not in a boss rush, but in quiet, poignant failure. Picture the tower now, lights restored, music flowing once more through the city's veins. And that failed call hangs heavy, a requiem for ambition unchecked. These executives, born from Giovanni's shadow, fought with a fervour the first games only hinted at. Their backstories whispered in Grunt's chatter. Loyalists clinging to a cause that outlived its architect. Giotto's storytellers wove this siege as the arc's crescendo, blending high-stakes infiltration with raw human frailty. No massive airship crashes, no volcanic lairs, just a skyscraper standoff where dreams die on frequency dead air. This finale cements Gold and Silver's genius as sequels. They revisit Rocket not as cartoon villains, but as fractured survivors. Their downfall a mirror to your own growth, from New Barktown kid to region saviour. The open-ended tease of Red and Blue, Giovanni vanishing post-Sylph Company, gets sealed with emotional permanence, yet letting Giotto breathe free while honouring Kanto's scars. And as the dust settles in Goldenrod, a silver-haired shadow stirs elsewhere, his path toward redemption calling louder than any broadcast. That tale unfolds next in Chapter 9, The Rivalry of Redemption. As the static fades from the radio tower's speakers and Archer crumples in defeat, you step out into Goldenrod's bustling streets, the weight of Team Rocket's shattered ambitions lifting like morning fog over the city. But victory feels hollow. Your rival Silver bursts from the shadows, his crimson hair wild under the afternoon sun, eyes burning with that familiar fury. He sneers at you, calls your Pokémon weaklings clinging to false strength, and unleashes his team in a blaze of calculated aggression. This isn't the first time he's ambushed you, and it won't be the last. Silver isn't just any rival, he's the thief who slunk into Professor Elm's lab back in New Barktown, snatching a starter Pokémon right from its Pokeball. A Cyndaquil, if you chose Totodile, a Chikorita mirroring your own, before vanishing into the night like a ghost born from Giotto's misty roots. From that moment, Silver shadows your every step, a relentless force of disdain wrapped in a trench coat too big for his slender frame. He crashes your gym battles in Violet City, mocking Faulkner's Pidgeotto as you clash outside the tower, his own starter already evolved into a snarling Quilava, flames licking the air with barely contained rage. You beat him there, but he doesn't flee in shame. He spits venom about your pathetic bonds, how true power comes from crushing weakness without mercy. It's personal for him, deeper than rivalry. Silver doesn't battle for badges or glory, he battles to prove a philosophy carved into his soul. Pokémon in his eyes are tools to be forged in fire, discarded if they falter. He whips them into obedience, his voice a sharp crack echoing off gym walls, demanding more speed, more power, more everything. Think back to Blue, that cocky kid from Kanto, strutting through Pallet Town with eternal smugness. His team a parade of over-leveled show-offs he treated like trophies on a shelf. Blue's arrogance was surface level, a brat's bravado masking insecurity. He'd taunt you after losses, but deep down, he chased the champion title to outshine his grandfather's legacy. Silver? His hatred runs bone deep, a genuine revulsion for anything soft. He loathes weakness not as a boast but as a betrayal of nature itself. When his Pokémon stumble, he doesn't laugh it off like Blue might. He glares at them with disgust, yanking them back into their balls as if their failure stains him personally. It's chilling watching him in Azalea Town after you free the Slowpoke from Team Rocket's butchers. There he is again, blocking the gym entrance, his starter now a Typhlosion candidate, roaring challenges while Bugsy cowers inside. You topple him once more, but his parting words linger. Friendship? That's just an excuse for the feeble. Yet something shifts subtly, like the first hints of dawn creeping over Mount. Mortar, Silver keeps coming back. On the decks of the SS Aqua, waves crashing against the hull as his Ferrolegata snaps at your team. In the depths of the Team Rocket hideout beneath mahogany, where the air reeks of chemicals and desperation, his Growlithe evolved into Arcanine tearing through shadows. Each defeat chips at his armor. At first it's denial. He storms off, vowing to purge the weakness from his ranks. But listen closer after the dance theatre in Ecruteak post-burn tower flames. His voice wavers, just a fraction, as he recalls his Pokémon, muttering about power that shouldn't slip away. By the time you face him outside the Elite Four's cave, after conquering Johto's dragons and ghosts, his team gleams with effort, Kingdra rising from Horsea's humble waves, a testament to relentless training. But still, you prevail. He stands there, fists clenched, not raging, but searching your eyes as if your unbreakable team holds a secret he's only beginning to glimpse. And woven into this fury is a tragedy you uncover piece by shadowed piece. And Silver's not some random delinquent. Whispers from rocket grunts hint at his lineage, a boy abandoned by the very man who built their empire. Giovanni, the vanished boss from Kanto's Silphoscope scandals, left a son to fester in Johto's underbelly. It's there in Silver's instinctive pull toward Rocket's schemes, the way he infiltrates their hideouts not to join, but to measure himself against their ruthlessness, only to scorn them as failures too. In the remakes that polished Gold and Silver's edges, this bond snaps into focus. Silver, the spitting image of his father's unyielding drive, chasing redemption through solitude. But in the originals, it's subtler, a hidden lore etched in his reactions, his flinch at mentions of the mastermind who ditched him, fueling a cycle of rejection he inflicts on his own Pokémon. He's Giovanni's echo, twisted into a lone wolf howling against the weakness he sees in his bloodline. Those repeated clashes etch his arc across Johto's map, a slow thaw under your persistent victories. He starts as a storm, charging through roots, battling wild Pokémon for sport, his Pokégear silent while yours buzzes with calls. But post-Radio Tower, after you've mirrored his theft by dismantling Rocket's core, he lingers longer, questions slipping into his barbs. How do they fight like that for you? By Victory Road's echoing tunnels, his hatred cracks open. He admits, haltingly, that bonds might hold power he overlooked. And atop Mount Silver, after the Elite Four's symphony fades, he confronts you one final time, not as conqueror, but as seeker. His team, battle-hardened to the brink, falls again, but this time, resolve flickers in his gaze, not defeat, but determination to evolve. Silver walks away changed, the thief redeemed through the very friendships he once despised, vanishing into the peaks toward an unspoken future. This rivalry pulses at Gold and Silver's heart, turning every badge into a mirror for growth, every loss for him a step toward understanding. As his path diverges, yours leads deeper into the mechanics that forged those unbreakable ties. Next, in Chapter 10, the science of breeding and friendship will unravel how eggs hatching in daycares and hearts warming through quiet moments revolutionized Pokémon bonds, secrets that even Silver couldn't ignore forever. Silver's obsession with raw power left him blind to something profound. You can't force strength from Pokémon that resent their trainers. True bonds form away from the roar of battle, in the gentle rhythms of everyday care. And that's where the daycare enters the picture, a humble spot on Route 34, just south of Violet City, where you first drop off your Pokémon to let nature take its course. Picture the old couple there, tending their garden under Johto's endless blue skies, their voices soft as they promise to look after your team. You hand over 2 compatible Pokémon, wave goodbye and step away. Days pass, or in game time, steps you take across the region, and something miraculous happens. An egg appears, warm and pulsing with potential, cradled in the daycare man's hands when you return. This wasn't just a cute gimmick, it was Game Freak's bold leap into genetics, mimicking real-world breeding, but infused with Pokemon's whimsical logic. Compatibility rules everything. Pokémon of the same egg group, think monster types like your starters, or fairy-like ones such as Clefairy, can produce offspring. Ditto acts as the ultimate wildcard, bonding with almost anything to bypass those barriers. The egg hatches into a baby version of one parent species, inheriting traits that echo both progenitors. But here's the genius. Nature decides the IVs, those hidden individual values shaping stats like attack or speed. Breed smart, and you craft powerhouses from scratch, no rare encounter needed. Take those coveted starters, Chikorita, Cyndaquil, Totodile. In the originals, trading one away meant saying goodbye forever. Now, leave your Chikorita with a Ditto, and eggs roll out carrying its lineage. You build an army of Bayleaf without sacrificing your ace. Johto's world feels alive with possibility, because breeding turns scarcity into abundance, letting you stockpile teams for Kanto's post-game gauntlet, or just hoard for the joy of it. Yet breeding went deeper, unlocking secrets buried in the genes. Egg moves, powerful techniques like Hydro Cannon for Totodile or Ancient Power for Larvitar, pass directly from parent to child, skipping the usual learning curve. A Feraligatr couldn't normally splash its way to that forbidden arsenal, but breed it with a compatible tutor, and the egg inherits the legacy. Players pored over charts, chaining breeders in the daycare's fields, chasing perfect movesets. It rewarded patience, turning the grind into a science experiment where every hatch revealed a new variable. This wasn't mere replication, it honoured the Pokemon's heritage. Gender factors in too. Males pass moves more reliably, females dictate the species in non-ditto pairs. Shininess? A 1 in 8,005 something lottery, but breeding stacks the odds with the Masuda method later on, though gold and silver planted the seed. Eggs even respect held items, carrying shadows of nurture into the next generation. You felt like a Pokemon professor, unravelling DNA strands amid Johto's whispering winds. But power through breeding only scratches the surface of what gold and silver taught about connection. Enter friendship, or happiness as the game's code calls it, a hidden meter ticking in every Pokemon's heart. Battles chip away at it if you faint too often, but victory, walking alongside you on those long routes, even soothing massages at the Goldenrod department store, they all build it up. Items like the protein or rare candies nudge it higher, and time in the daycare? That fosters bonds too, preparing eggs with elevated happiness from the start. Why does it matter? Because some evolutions demand more than levels or stones. They crave loyalty. Togepi, that precious hatchling gifted by Elm's aid after a rocket encounter, embodies this perfectly. You cradle its egg through storms and sieges, nurse it with bitter herbs that somehow taste sweet in its tiny mouth. Reach a certain friendship threshold, expose it to a shiny stone later, or just let the bond peak, and it blossoms into Togetic, wings shimmering like dawn over Ecruteak. It's no coincidence Togepi arrives post-Rocket Chaos, a symbol that even from villainy and theft, like Silver's stolen Totodile, care redeems. Eevee takes this further, its evolution splitting with the clock's rhythm. Daytime friendship yields Espeon, psychic grace attuned to your shared adventures under the sun. At night, Umbreon emerges, dark armour forged in moonlit walks, eyes glowing with unwavering trust. No more arbitrary stones. Now evolution mirrors your lifestyle. Walk your Eevee through Johto's nights, chasing Hoot Hoot. Share victories without reckless feints, and watch it transform. Not by force, but by feeling truly seen. These mechanics wove friendship into the fabric of play. Pokemon grew happier, learned faster, endured poison longer. Neglect them, and they'd sulk, moves landing weaker. It was Game Freak's quiet revolution. Battles test strength, but life outside the arena defines it. Silver raged against weakness, but your team? They thrived because you walked the routes together, or picnicked in tall grass, let them frolic while you fished. Bonds weren't fluff, they were the engine of growth. Togepi toddling at your heels, Eevee curling by the campfire, these weren't side features. They crowned Johto's theme of cycles and care, from breeding's generational handoff to friendship's emotional payoff. Every egg cracked open whispered of futures yet hatched. Every happy Pokémon a testament to choices beyond combat. And as your bonds deepened, horizons expanded beyond Johto's borders. That expansion pulls us across the sea next, into Chapter 11. Crossing the sea to Kanto, where nostalgia collides with your evolved mastery. But what challenges await when you step off the S? Esu akiwa, reidaido hui suzimu ridazuvu, gurunziasto azuhuyazu, Kitsui, with your Pokémon now honed through the daycare's subtle alchemy, eggs hatching with inherited moves that turn fledglings into forces of nature, you stand victorious atop the Indigo Plateau, the Johto Elite Four defeated, their shadows fading into the mist-shrouded heights. The credits should roll, right? The screen should fade to black, leaving you with that familiar rush of completion. But instead, Elm's voice crackles through your Pokégear, urgent and alive. There's still more to do, he says. Sail across the sea to Kanto. Your journey, it turns out, was never meant to end here. This revelation hits like a thunderbolt from the heavens, the true masterstroke of Gold and Silver's design. You've poured hours into Johto's winding paths, its ancient towers and raging lakes, but only to discover the world doubling in scope right before your eyes. No warning, no fanfare, just a quiet ferry from Olivine Port, the waves lapping against the hull as land gives way to endless blue. And beneath it all, a feat of engineering that borders on the miraculous. Satoru Iwata, the programmer whose genius would one day steer Nintendo's ships, worked his magic here first. He compressed two entire regions, Johto's fresh landscapes and Kanto's beloved originals, onto a single Game Boy Color cartridge, squeezing gigabytes of data into mere megabits without a hint of slowdown. Sprites flicker seamlessly, music loops without stutter, and the clock ticks onward, bridging yesterday's triumphs with tomorrow's challenges. It's not just code, it's a bridge across time itself. The ship docks in Vermilion City, and the shock washes over you like sea spray. 3 years have passed since you last walked these streets, or rather, since Red did, the silent hero of the original games. The world has aged, subtly but unmistakably. The gym's facade gleams a touch more weathered, the Pokémon Center's roof patched from storms unseen. Trainers mill about with evolved partners at their sides, their teams no longer the raw beginners of old. Vermilion hums with a lived-in rhythm, fishermen casting lines into the harbour at dusk, their magneton humming faintly in the twilight. A nod to the day-night cycle that pulses through every corner of this expanded universe. You step forward, heart pounding with recognition, yet everything feels evolved. The air carries whispers of history, of battles fought and legends etched into the stone. Lieutenant. Surge greets you first, his electric buzz sharper now, his Raichu crackling with pent-up voltage at level 48. No more the brash foreigner with a Voltorb and Electrode. His roster has grown, mirroring the passage of time. Pikachu dances at his heel, evolved in spirit if not form, while his Magnemite swarm has unified into a hulking Magneton. He barks about his days as a war veteran, hints of drills and lightning storms from the first games resurfacing like ghosts from the fog. You battle, and victory tastes bittersweet. Stronger foes demand your Johto-bred stars, forcing trades and evolutions you never imagined back in New Barktown. Misty waits in Cerulean, her Cascade badge now flanked by a Starmie that spins with psychic menace, Gyarados thrashing where once a simple star you floated. She's tougher, her water types scaled to match your badge count, a cascade of waves crashing harder after 3 years of training. The siblings lounge by the pool, their playful jabs evolved into sharper wit, tying back to that rainy day when Red first challenged her. Each gym leader re-emerges like an old friend who's hit the weights. Brock's Onyx has steel wrapped into Steelix, a Gen 2 evolution born from trade and time. Erica's Victreebel drips with venomous upgrades, her greenhouse thicker with exotic blooms. This isn't mere rematch, it's re-evaluation. Kanto's Guardians have adapted, their teams bloated with mid-40s powerhouses, incorporating the 100 new Pokémon that Gold and Silver unveiled. Crobat swoops where Golbat once flapped, Kingler clamps with newfound fury. The lore deepens too, dialogue laced with callbacks. Surge reminisces on foreign wars, Misty on her absent sister's journeys. You've grown alongside them, your Cyndaquil, now a Typhlosion, breathing Johto fire into Kanto's winds. The nostalgia cuts deep, a perfect payoff for starting as a kid in a neighbouring land, returning as champion to the cradle of it all. Pewter's museum gleams under fresh lights, Brock's voice gravelly with pride over fossils unearthed in the interim. His Carbatops slices through your defences, a prehistoric echo demanding respect. And as you push eastward, the SS Aqua optional detour a nostalgic cruise back to Vermilion's roots. The world unfolds in layers. Kanto isn't frozen, it's alive, aged gracefully, its paths overgrown with berry trees and hidden items, unearthed by time's patient hand. Yet this crossing sows seeds of greater mystery. Red lurks on Mount, or Silver's peak, but before that throne, Kanto's gyms guard secrets, tied to shadows long past. In the next chapter, Chapter 12, the ghosts of Kanto's past will unearth how these leaders' evolutions whisper of unfinished tales, pulling you deeper into the fog of forgotten rivalries. As you step off that ferry from Vermilion City, the salty spray of the sea still clinging to your skin, Kanto unfolds before you like a half-remembered dream, altered in ways that tug at the edges of nostalgia. 3 years have passed since Red silenced the storms on these shores, and the region hasn't waited for your return. The paths feel narrower, the wild Pokémon fiercer, their levels climbing as if the land itself has toughened in his absence. You're not the wide-eyed kid from New Barktown anymore, but here, you feel like the newcomer crashing a story already told, a sequel protagonist slipping into a world that's etched its own scars and triumphs without you. Your first steps lead south toward the familiar coastline, but Cinnabar Island hits you hardest, a skeletal reminder of nature's unforgiving hand. The volcano that once loomed dormant over the island erupted in cataclysmic fury sometime after Red's victory, swallowing the Pokémon lab in rivers of molten rock and reshaping the entire seascape. What was once a bustling hub of scientific wonder, where Mewtwo's creators tinkered with the boundaries of life, now lies in charred ruins, jutting from the waves like broken teeth. You dive beneath the surface with the Dive HM, your Pokémon cutting through the murky depths, Eve bubbles rising as you navigate submerged corridors lined with fossilized echoes of the past. The old gym, Blaine's Fiery Domain, is a flooded tomb, its platforms collapsed and overgrown with coral, aerodactyl fossils half buried in silt. Surfacing on the blackened shore, ash crunches underfoot, and the air carries a faint sulfur tang that never quite fades. This isn't just destruction, it's evolution forced by the earth itself. The geography twisted so profoundly that roots once trodden by thousands now demand new mastery from trainers like you. Cinnabar's full severed trade lines, scattered researchers to Johto's shores, and left the island a haunted pilgrimage site, whispering that even legends like Red couldn't hold back the tide of time. Pushing north through the undergrowth, Fuchsia City greets you with its own quiet melancholy. The Safari Zone, that sprawling preserve where you'd once hurled bait and mud at elusive beasts, stands eerily vacant. The gates are chained, weeds clawing through the fences, and the old warden, his speech as garbled as ever from those prized dentures, shuffles out from his hut with a sigh. He hands over strength, the HM that unlocks forgotten paths, but his eyes linger on the emptiness behind him. Poachers, he mutters, or maybe the eruption's fallout poisoned the herds, driving rare species into hiding or extinction's shadow. No more rocks, safaris or lures to catch that elusive Dratini. The zone's fate mirrors Kanto's own, a playground shuttered as the world outgrew its whimsy. You teach the move to your strongest companion, feeling the weight of absence, the way this land has pruned itself leaner, meaner, ready for whatever comes next. But it's the gym circuit that truly etches the ghosts into your journey. Each leader, a living archive of the years skipped. Take Lieutenant Surge in Vermilion, his electric throne humming with upgraded fury. No longer just a shocking showman from Red's era, he greets you with a veteran's gravelly candour, his voice laced with the grit of battles long faded. War changes a man, kid. Pokémon were my brothers in the trenches, zapping through the fog of enemy lines. Giovanni's rocket crew? They were the real thunder, scheming, stealing, leaving scars deeper than any bolt. His Raichu crackles at level 34, evolved and battle-hardened, flanked by a magneton that phases through your attacks like shrapnel. Surge's monologue isn't boast, it's catharsis. A nod to the shadows of conflict that Red glimpsed but you inherit whole. He folds his arms after the dust settles, respecting your win with a salute that speaks volumes unspoken. Then there's Blue, the pinnacle of it all, waiting in Viridian Gym like a king reclaiming his throne. Remember him from those old tales? The smug rival shadowing Red's every step, all trash talk and Pidgeot struts. Time's forged him into something unbreakable. After you conquer the 8 badges, he steps up as leader, his team a symphony of mastery. Level 45 Alakazam warping reality, Raiden shrugging off quakes, and that signature Pidgeot soaring at speeds that blur the air. But listen to him now, post-battle, his voice stripped of boyish arrogance. I've come a long way from chasing shadows, trained under the best, faced the Elite Four, even Dad's old gym here, Viridian's mine by right now. Giovanni's shadow looms in his words, the absent father whose empire crumbled, leaving Blue to rebuild with quiet authority. He's no longer the cocky thorn, he's the respected guardian, his evolutions mirroring your own, a bridge from rival to equal in a region that crowned Red but bows to no one. Wandering these remade lands, badges heavy in your case, you can't shake the thrill of it, the sequel protagonist's edge, stepping into Red's wake as gym leaders recount their growth. Wilds pulse with post-eruption life, and every corner hums with stories you missed. Kanto's ghosts aren't vengeful, they're proud, urging you onward to summits yet unclimbed. But even as Viridian's doors swing shut behind you, whispers from Johto's ancient corners pull you back across the sea, where Chapter 13, the ruins of Alph and the unknown mystery, hides puzzles that could rewrite the script of time itself. What secrets do those ethereal letters guard, waiting for your light to unlock them? As you stand before Blue in the shadow of Viridian Gym, his gaze hardened by years of rivalry turned respect. The echoes of Kanto's volcanic scars on Cinnabar fade into the horizon, but Johto calls you back across the waves, not to its bustling cities or raging lakes, but to a place buried in secrecy beneath the earth. The ruins of Alph, carved into the cliffs northwest of Violet City, hold puzzles that whisper of civilizations older than the towers of Belkheim or the flames of the burned tower. These ruins aren't mere backdrop. They're a deliberate fracture in Johto's pastoral facade. I enter through the mouth of the cave near Route 32, and the air thickens with dust motes dancing in faint torchlight. Stone walls, weathered smooth by eons, bare carvings not of Pokémon in battle, but of floating eyes, unown, the letter forms that defy capture as mere beasts. First glimpsed here in gold and silver, these ruins span 4 chambers, each sealed behind mechanisms that demand your wits over brute force. Slide massive stone tiles into place, aligning patterns of Pokémon icons like Kabuto or Aerodactyl, and doors grind open to reveal inner sanctums alive with anomaly. Take the first chamber, accessible right away. Align the tiles to mimic Hoot Hoot's stare, and inside, unknown swarm like living script, their bodies twisting into A, B, C, 26 forms in all, each a glyph from an alphabet lost to time. Catch them one by one, their cries a static hiss that lingers in your ears. But venture deeper, and the true unease sets in. Equip your Pokegear, tune to the radio channel, and static erupts. Not the cheerful tunes of Goldenrod's station, but fragmented signals. Here, they murmur in distorted tones or, unknown, repeated like a mantra from the void. These transmissions pierce only within the ruin's embrace, vanishing the moment you step into sunlight, as if the stones themselves broadcast secrets from another plane. Game Freak wove this radio phenomenon into the fabric of play, a mechanic born from the real-time clock that governs Johto's days and nights. No two visits yield the same chatter. The signals shift, elusive, pulling you back to solve puzzles anew for rare, unknown variants. Like the question mark form that eludes all but the patient. But it's no accident. These ruins sit equidistant from Johto's legendary sites, linking the burned tower's primal fires to the bell tower's hovering guardian. Ancient peoples, the lore implies, communed here with forces that shaped the world itself. Scholars in the Pokémon world, and fans dissecting cartridges ever since, speculate wildly on the unknown's origins. Are they progenitors? Psychic echoes of the creator Arceus, whose plates birthed all types and forms? Their shapes mimic human letters, yet predate known scripts, suggesting a dialect for summoning reality. Theories abound, unknown as the universe's source code, their assemblies spelling spells that manifest Pokémon from nothingness. In the Alf's research chamber, unlocked by Omanite's puzzle, or walls depict unknown swirling into beasts, perhaps the first games where symbols battled for existence. Collect them all, trade via time capsule to Gen 1 links, and rumours persist of hidden evolutions or events. Though none confirmed, fueling midnight hunts even today. This infusion of cosmic dread elevates gold and silver beyond kids' fare. Picture a 10-year-old, flashlight in hand under covers, radio crackling with otherworldly pleas while stone slabs shift like awakening tombs. Archaeological threads tie to Johto's Kansai inspiration. Real-world Nara ruins, with keyhole tombs and cryptic Haniwa figures. But Game Freak amps the horror. Unknown don't flee or fight traditionally. They phase through walls, their eyes unblinking voids that stare back, implying sentience unbound by Pokeballs. The radio signals evoke forbidden knowledge, akin to eldritch whispers in Lovecraft's tales, where decoding the unknown unravels sanity. Yet it's seamless, kid-friendly terror. Solve the puzzle, claim your prize, sleep sound, until the static returns in dreams. Deeper still, the Union Cave entrance to another Alf chamber demands Natu or Blossom alignments, yielding unknown hordes that swarm your screen. Here signals plead every body, unknown, a fragmented census of the unseen. Fans theorize these ruins as nexus points, portals thinned by time's passage, where Johto's 3-year gap from Kanto events allows ancient rifts to yawn. Red's silent vigil on Mount Silver gains shadow from this. Did he too hear the calls, scaling peaks haunted by similar enigmas? The unknown's puzzle mastery mirrors Breeding's genetics or Silver's redemption arc. Patterns emerge from chaos, his strength from alignment. No chamber stands alone. They're interconnected, demanding travel across Johto's map. Violet's outskirts, Route 36's detour, even post-game revisits post-Kanto. This sprawl cements the sequel's genius, a world that lives, breathes, hides layers for the diligent. Unknown don't evolve traditionally, but their sheer count, over 200 in Dex form via photos, rewards completionists, tying to Shiny's rarity or Roamer's chase. The eerie broadcasts, programmed randomly via the clock, mimic real ham radio anomalies, grounding the supernatural in tech wonder. In this labyrinth, Gold and Silver unearth Johto's soul, a land of folklore where beasts embody myths and humans unearth perils wiser to leave buried. The unknown embody the unknown that birthed Pokémon, letters forging legends, eyes witnessing creation's dawn. It's cosmic horror veiled in cartridge constraints, archaeological thrill amid day/night cycles, proving these perfect sequels layered dread with delight. And as the static fades and you emerge blinking into Johto's twilight, the seas beckon with whispers of deeper guardians. In Chapter 14, The Guardian of the Seas and the Rainbow Hero, dive into legends that soar and plunge, where one shields the waves from calamity and the other paints victory across the sky, secrets that will pull you under and lift you high. I hope you're as amazed by this as I am. If you want to stay updated on more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our community of curious minds. Trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. As the faint radio signals from the ruins of Alph fade into whispers of forgotten alphabets, Johto's ancient mysteries pull you toward its storm-swept shores and soaring spires, where two colossal guardians stand as eternal sentinels, one cloaked in the fury of the deep, the other painted across the rainbow skies. In Pokémon Gold, your path diverges toward the radiant pinnacle of the Tin Tower, that elegant pagoda piercing the clouds above Ecruteak City, its wooden beams groaning under the weight of centuries. Legends etched into Johto's folklore claim this is the perch of Ho-Oh, the rainbow Pokémon, a phoenix reborn from the ashes of calamity. Picture the structure's ascent: 9 perilous floors of precarious platforms and howling gusts, where every step tests your resolve against crumbling ledges and spectral winds that threaten to hurl you back to the earth below. Ho-Oh doesn't merely wait there like a trophy on display. It demands pilgrimage, a climb fueled by the rainbow wing, a shimmering feather earned through trials that echo the region's cyclical rebirths. Flip to Pokémon Silver, and the sea itself becomes your labyrinth, drawing you to the Whirl Islands, a churning maze of tidal caves lashed by relentless waves, where saltwater sprays your face and the roar of whirlpools drowns out all but the pounding of your heart. Here dwells Lugia, the guardian of the seas, its massive silver wings folded in the dim glow of bioluminescent depths. Submarine passages twist through flooded caverns, demanding surf mastery and precise navigation past jagged reefs and sudden undertows. The silver wing guides you, but Lugia emerges only after you've braved the ocean's wrath, its psychic roar shaking the cavern walls as if the sea itself awakens in protest. These aren't arbitrary placements, they're the heart of Gold and Silver's version-exclusive lore, a deliberate split that carves the world's identity along golden horizons and silvery abysses. Ho-Oh graces Gold's box art, its fiery plumage exploding in vibrant hues against a dawn sky, symbolizing hope and renewal for players chasing the sunlit path. Lugia claims Silver's cover, coiled in shadowy blues, evoking mystery and the untamed power lurking beneath waves, a perfect mirror to Johto's dual soul, where light and shadow, fire and water dance in eternal balance. Game Freak wove these legendaries into the narrative's core, making them not just endgame prizes, but emblems of the game's philosophical divide. Gold's upward gaze toward divine resurrection, Silver's plunge into primordial chaos. What elevates these encounters beyond mere captures is the ritual woven into their summoning, a tapestry of spiritual reverence that permeates Johto's every corner. In Ecruteak's dance theatre, the Kimono Girls await, 5 ethereal performers, draped in flowing silks of red, pink, green, blue, and yellow. Their movements, a hypnotic symphony, weaving threads of mythology to ancient flutes and shamisen strings. You battle them first, each sister commanding a evolution born of the day's light or night's embrace, their dances channeling Johto's time-based essence. Victory unlocks their secret performance, a synchronized ritual mimicking the legendary beast's fiery spirits. But it's the feathers they bestow, the rainbow wing for Ho-Oh, the silver wing for Lugia, that seal the pact. This isn't rote fetch quest, it's ceremony, evoking Shinto purification rites from Kansai's temples, where harmony with nature summons the divine. The girls' graceful spins under lantern light, fabrics swirling like phoenix tails or diving gulls, infuse the quest with sacred weight, turning pixelated steps into a pilgrimage that lingers in your dreams. Climb those towers or dive those depths, and the battles unfold as symphonies of spectacle, true boss encounters that dwarf Generation 1's static showdowns. Mewtwo lounged in its cerebral lair, Articuno perched motionless in icy halls, predictable guardians felled by preparation alone. But Ho-Oh erupts in a blaze of sacred fire, its wings spanning the screen as Weatherball summons rainbows that heal and scorch in turn, forcing you to adapt mid-soar while gusts buffet your team. Lugia counters with Aeroblast, a howling psychic gale that warps the battlefield, its massive frame pulsing with hydrokinetic fury, demanding type switches and item clutch as the cave trembles. These fights pulse with life, dynamic animations, arena hazards like precarious drops or flooding chambers, and levels scale to your journey's endgame rigor. They feel earned, alive, as if Johto's guardians judge your worthiness, not just in strength, but in the folklore you've honoured along the way. This version, exclusive duality cements Ho-Oh and Lugia as Johto's beating heart, the box art icons that transcend marketing to embody the sequel's genius, bridging Kanto's legacy with a world alive in cycles of destruction and rebirth. The burned towers, charred ruins below the Tin Tower, whisper of the calamity that birthed the legendary beasts, Ho-Oh's flight scattering their rainbow ashes into Raiku's thunder, Entei's blaze, Suicune's gale. Lugia's domain guards against oceanic cataclysms, its psychic vigilance a counterpoint to Ho-Oh's aerial dominion. Players chose not just teams, but philosophies. Ascend to rainbow glory, or descend to sea's embrace, each path etching the game's lore into your playthrough forever. Yet even as these guardians test your mettle, Johto's true apex looms shrouded in perpetual snow, where the silent champion from Kanto awaits his reckoning. In the next chapter, the ultimate test mounts. Od Silver, prepare to face the pinnacle that makes every prior trial fade. What secrets does Red guard at the world's edge, and how does it crown Gold and Silver's perfect sequel arc? With the radiant feathers of Ho-Oh and the swirling depths of Lugia now etched into your journey's memory, you stand at the edge of true mastery, gazing up at Mount Silver, the final bastion reserved solely for those trainers who have conquered Johto's Elite Four and earned the right to ascend. This towering sentinel, shrouded in perpetual mist and jagged ice, permits no weak hearts. Its slopes demand perfection, a gauntlet forged from the rawest elements, where blizzards howl and footing crumbles under unprepared souls. You begin the climb from the base near Indigo Plateau, your boots crunching through fresh powder that clings like a living shroud. The air thins with every step, carrying whispers of ancient winds that have scoured these heights for eons. No bustling routes or friendly NPCs greet you here, only solitude, broken by the occasional echo of a wild Pokémon's cry, like Golbat slicing through fog or Donphan rumbling distant avalanches. Held items from your arsenal become lifelines, a full restore clutched against the cold's bite, or charcoal fueling a blaze to melt frozen paths. Each ledge you scale tests not just your team, but your resolve, as visibility drops to mere feet ahead, forcing reliance on that internal clock ticking away the hours of daylight you might never see again. Higher still, the world falls away, Kanto and Johto reduced to hazy silhouettes on the horizon. The music fades entirely now, leaving an oppressive silence that presses in like the mountain's own weight. No triumphant fanfare swells, no ambient chimes soothe the ear, just the void, punctuated by your laboured breaths and the faint scrape of claws on rock. This auditory barrenness builds a tension thicker than the fog, your pulse the only rhythm as you navigate blind switchbacks and yawning chasms. It's as if the game itself holds its breath, stripping away comforts to mirror the purity of the challenge ahead, where every decision echoes eternally. At last you emerge onto the windswept summit, a flattened arena ringed by sheer cliffs that trap the chill in unnatural stillness. There, silhouetted against the dim overcast sky, waits a figure cloaked in shadow, the silent protagonist from those first Pokémon adventures. Now known simply as Red, he stands motionless, cap pulled low, his back to the abyss, Pikachu at his side like a loyal spectre. No words pass between you. His presence alone speaks volumes, a living relic of your own beginnings. The boy who once chased dreams through Kanto's familiar trails. This encounter carries profound symbolism, a battle against your past self incarnate. Red embodies the pinnacle of what you aspired to be, unyielding, evolved beyond recognition. His team, forged in the fires of endgame legend, boasts Pokémon at levels 81 and beyond, a snarling Snorlax at 82, Venusaur breathing toxic spores at 81, Charizard scorching the air at 81. Each move a testament to the raw power that defined ultimate difficulty back then. His Pikachu caps it at 88, a Thunderbolt-wielding behemoth that demands your strongest counters. Perhaps a level 70 Jolteon zapped up through grinding, or a Blastoise tanking hits with precision. Surf crashes across the field, Earthquake rends the stone, Hyper Beam cleaves the silence, every clash a mirror to your growth, forcing you to surpass the very legend you idolized. Yet victory here isn't mere triumph, it's catharsis. Red's defeat triggers no fanfare, just a quiet fade as he turns away, vanishing into the mist like a ghost laid to rest. You've not only bested the strongest trainer in the world, but reconciled with the journey's origins, bridging Johto's innovations back to Kanto's roots in one frozen heartbeat. Mount Silver stands as the sequel's masterstroke, a forbidden rite that cements Gold and Silver as more than games. They're evolutions of the soul. And as the snow settles on this hard-won peak, whispers of further refinement echo from the horizon, drawing us toward Chapter 16, Pokémon Crystal, the perfected vision that would elevate these worlds even higher. As the echoes of that wordless battle fade from Mount Silver's peak, you descend into the quiet triumph of completion, your team scarred but unbreakable, Johto's horizons stretching out like a promise fulfilled. Yet for many players, the cartridge clicked off, not at the summit, but in the shadow of what came next, a refined echo of Gold and Silver that polished every edge to perfection. Pokémon Crystal arrived like a secret evolution, slipping into Japanese shelves just months after its predecessors, on December 14th, 2000, and reaching North America the following summer. It wasn't merely an update, it was the third version, the one that captured lightning in a bottle twice over. Game Freak took the blueprint of Gold and Silver and infused it with a vision so complete, it redefined what a sequel's sequel could be. At its heart stood Chris, the first playable female protagonist in Pokémon history, stepping forward with quiet determination from New Barktown. No longer bound to a single silhouette, you could now choose her as your avatar, her red pigtails bouncing with each step. Her design, a nod to the girls who'd claimed these games as their own long before. She mirrored the male trainer in skill and spirit, but her presence shattered a subtle barrier, inviting half the world to see themselves in the hero's cape. Chris didn't just play the role, she owned it, her sprite cycling through idle animations that made her feel alive. Waiting for your command amid the tall grass. That spark of life extended to every Pokémon on your roster. Gone were the static portraits of old. Crystal introduced animated sprites, the first in the series to breathe motion into these digital companions. Watch closely now. Your Chikorita sways its leaf like a gentle metronome. Pikachu's cheeks flicker with electric impatience. And that shiny red Gyarados from the Lake of Rage coils and uncoils in perpetual fury. These weren't gimmicks, they were personality distilled into pixels. A slow blink from a resting Snorlax, the subtle flex of Machamp's arms, the way Suicune's mane ripples like wind over water. These details turned battles into theatres of character. You felt the weight of each command, not just strategically, but emotionally, as if your team pulsed with their own quiet wills. It was a technical leap on the Game Boy Color's humble screen, compressing twice the life into the same cartridge space, courtesy of the same compression wizardry that birthed 2 regions before. Deeper still, Crystal wove a thread of pursuit through Johto's mists, elevating Suicune from a fleeting phantom to a legend you could chase. In Gold and Silver, the North Wind roamed as an elusive spectre, one of 3 beasts reborn from the Burn Tower's flames. But here, its tale unfolds like a private odyssey. You first glimpse Suicune at the Tin Tower, a blur vanishing into the storm, only to cross paths again at the Burn Tower's smouldering base. It tests you not with fangs, but with flight. Leaping across chasms, you must bridge on frozen streams and cliffside ledges. This dance pulls you through hidden groves and cliffside trails, where the air grows crisp with purpose. Enter Hussein, the self-proclaimed Suicune scholar, a man draped in enigma, his voice laced with fervour as he speaks of the beast's purity. It chooses only the worthy, he declares, his eyes alight with obsession, trailing you like a shadow across Johto. He's no villain, no rival, just a seeker, mirroring your own quest. His battle's a ritual of respect rather than conquest. Together, you and he corner Suicune atop the bell tower, where it bows not in defeat but in recognition, its cascade of crystal water freezing the pinnacle in eternal shimmer. This subplot, absent in the originals, layered redemption into the roamer's lore. Suicune, guardian of purity, forgiving the land's scars one frozen step at a time. These touches didn't just enhance Crystal, they etched a blueprint for the future. Every generation since would birth its definitive edition, the 3rd version that gathered the loose threads into gold. Emerald's sea-deepened Hoenn, Platinum's distorted Sinnoh, Black and White 2's perfected Unova. Crystal proved it. Take the solid foundation, animate the soul, chase the legends a little closer, and hand the reins to fresh faces. Players worldwide felt the pull, trading up cartridges in droves. The Pokédex humming with new life as friendships deepened and shinies gleamed brighter under those walking sprites. Through Chris's eyes, Johto Reborn feels intimate, every rustle of leaves and flicker of flame carrying forward the weight of your mount, Silver Victory. The day's cycle turns, Hoothoot hoots its nocturnal call, and the world waits for one more journey. But as Crystal's perfections settle like frost on the bell tower, and whispers of what followed begin to stir, the echoes rippling far beyond Johto's borders. Join me next for Chapter 17, The Legacy of the Johto Era, where we'll uncover how these games reshaped everything that came after, from Ruby and Sapphire's horizons to the endless generations they inspired. Crystal's animated sprites didn't just add motion to your companions, they captured the essence of Johto's living world, where every flicker of a wing or sway of a tail echoed the era's profound evolution. Long-term fans and critics alike point to Gold and Silver as the absolute peak of the Pokémon series, not because they reinvented the wheel, but because they spun it faster, smoother, and farther than anyone dreamed possible. You start your journey in the quiet dawn of New Barktown, 3 years after the events that shook Kanto, with a world that feels both intimately familiar and thrillingly vast. Johto unfolds as a masterful sequel, doubling down on what made the originals sing. Pocket monsters as partners, badges as milestones, a villainous shadow lurking, while stretching the canvas to include 100 new species, pushing the Pokédex to 251. Developers at Game Freak, under Satoshi Tajiri's vision, poured their souls into this expansion, delaying the launch from a hasty 1998 promise to November 21st, 1999 in Japan, ensuring the Game Boy Color's glow brought day-night cycles that made the land breathe. Picture the soft hush of nightfall in Johto, where Hoot-Hoot's calls pierce the velvet dark, or the weekend buzz of the bug-catching contest in National Park. Events tied to your internal clock that turned static gameplay into a rhythm synced with your own life. This wasn't mere window dressing, it rooted the core identity of catching, training and battling in a temporal flow where Eve might blossom into Espeon under the sun or Umbreon beneath the moon. Breeding at the daycare unlocked eggs from your starters, letting you share Chikorita, Cyndaquil or Totodile without sacrifice, a gentle revolution that deepened bonds across generations. Yet the true genius lies in how Gold and Silver honoured their roots while forging ahead. Post-Johto, you sail back to Kanto, not as a novice, but as a champion revisiting Brock's boulder-strewn gym. Misty's cascading pools, each leader now wielding evolved teams laced with backstories. Lieutenant Surge muttering of wars long past, Erika's grace sharpened by time. It culminates on Mount Silver's mist-shrouded peak, silent save for the wind's low moan, where Red himself bars the path. His level 81 Pikachu crackling with untamed power, a silent nod to your own beginnings. These games perfected the sequel formula by expanding scope without dilution. Johto's 8 gyms, each a thematic jewel, Jasmine's steel heart in Olivine, Price's icy grip in Mahogany, flow seamlessly into Kanto's nostalgia, bridging 8-bit simplicity to something richer. Held items emerge here, berries clutched in tiny claws boosting stats mid-battle, a tactical layer that would underpin competitive play for decades. Weather effects stir the skies, rain-swelling water moves, or sandstorms grinding foes, mechanics that evolved into the terrain wars of today. Specialized Pokeballs, like the fast ball snaring speedy foes, or heavy ball, corralling the massive add precision to your hunts. Tools so intuitive, they feel like they've always belonged. Johto's legacy pulses through the Reform Team Rocket's veins. Their executives, Proton, Ariana, Petrel, Archer, scheming in shadows from Slowpoke Tail. Black markets to the Radio Tower siege, a narrative of resurgence that ties directly to Giovanni's void. The Lake of Rage's shimmering red Gyarados, a rare shiny born of Rocket's hubris, roars as a beacon of disruption, while roaming beasts like Raikou, Entei, and Suicune dash across the map. Their thunderous paws a thrill of pursuit. Ruins of Alf whisper of forgotten tongues through unknown glyphs. Burned Tower cradles the legend of beasts reborn from flame. Bell Tower summons Lugia's psychic vigil, all folklore woven into puzzles that reward patience. This era bridged eras masterfully, from monochrome Game Boy origins to the vibrant competitive Colosseum. Trades via time capsule linked your Crystal team to a friend's Red squad, shiny sparkling at 1 in 85,000 odds. Friendship meters evolving Crobat from venomous Zubat or Golbat with affection alone. Critics hail it as peak because it captured lightning in a bottle. Innovation without alienation, a world that grew around you like a loyal Amphoros's glow. Fans return to these titles decades later, firing up virtual console ports from September 22nd, 2017, chasing that first roaming Suicune through golden fields or breeding perfect IVs under the stars. Gold and Silver didn't just sequel. They sanctified the formula, proving Pokémon could age like fine wine, deepening without bloating, nostalgic yet forward. Their mechanics held items clutched in battle's heat, weather shifting the tide, balls tailored to every quirk, laid the bedrock for stadiums, VGCs, and showdown ladders alike. As the credits fade on Red's defiant stand, you sense the path doesn't end there. Johto's echoes linger in every rematch, every evolved form, hinting at journeys unbound by badges or borders. Next time, we step into a journey that never truly ends, where the cycle spins onward, pulling you deeper into horizons yet unseen. Even as the original Gold and Silver etched their place as the pinnacle of Pokemon's early evolution, their spirit refused to fade into mere memory. In 2009, Game Freak reignited that flame with Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Remakes that didn't just revisit Johto, they breathed new life into its every corner for a generation raised on brighter screens and faster paces. These DS titles arrived like a gentle homecoming, their dual screens echoing the layered worlds of old. Heart Gold crowned Ho-Oh's radiant arc across the sky, while Soul Silver summoned Lugia's swirling maelstrom from the depths. Yet fidelity defined them. The same new Barktown farewell to your starter, the shadow descent of Mount Silver, the rocket executive's snarls in the Goldenrod radio tower. They preserved the core 8 badges of Johto. The post-game pilgrimage back to Kanto's familiar gyms, Brock's sturdy Onix now evolved into a colossal Steelix, Misty's Starmie cutting through waves with sharper menace. Every beat of the original saga pulsed intact, but polished with modern grace. What set these remakes apart was their quiet reverence for expansion. The Pokewalker accessory clipped to your belt like a real-world companion, letting you stroll with your Pokémon through virtual step challenges that mirrored Johto's winding paths. Catch a Sentret on your morning walk, or nurture happiness under real sunlight. Mechanics that deepened the bond without overwriting the past. Kanto sprawled even further now, with the Seavai Islands detour teasing distant horizons, yet Mount Silver's summit remained sacred. Red's silhouette waiting in eternal challenge, his Pikachu thundering at level 88. Trades with the originals via infrared felt like time travel, linking your Heart Gold Cyndaquil to a Red Era Venusaur across decades. For a new generation, a weaned on Diamond and Pearl's open skies, Heart Gold and Soul Silver whispered that Johto's intimacy was irreplaceable. The remakes captured that elusive magic, the way Elm's lab glowed with promise at dawn, Professor Oak's voice crackling over the Pokegear radio like a trusted uncle. They introduced the following Pokemon mechanic, your partner scampering behind you through Ecrutake's misty streets, a Chikorita nuzzling your heels as cherry blossoms drifted. It turned the journey personal, a companion's paw prints marking every grass rustle and ledge hop. And oh, the aesthetic that lingers, like a half-remembered dream, the lore for sleep essence that wraps Johto in twilight hush. Picture Ecrutake Dance Theatre at dusk, where the shamisen strings of the kimono girls weave through the air, slow and hypnotic, summoning Suicune's ethereal form. That melody, unchanged from 99, pulls you under, a lullaby of folklore where beasts of legend stir only for the worthy. The soft glow of the Game Boy Color palette endures here too, faithfully emulated on DS, those muted greens of Viridian Forest bleeding into Johto's amber fields, the pixelated haze of Bell Tower fog rendered with tender nostalgia. No harsh fluorescence, just that warm, analog shimmer, like fireflies trapped in emerald casing, inviting you to drift off mid-adventure. This is why the Johto journey stands unmatched, the most complete arc in Pokemon's sprawling tapestry. It doesn't merely end, it cycles eternally, starting in New Bark's cradle of waves and wind, threading through Redemption's thorns with Silver's growl and Rocket's fall, cresting Kanto's nostalgic peaks, only to summit at Red's silent vigil. Every mechanic serves the story. Time's relentless, tick birthing, night only, hoot hoot hoots, breeding eggs, hatching futures from past sacrifices. Shinies glinting as rare affirmations of persistence. No other region packs two worlds into one pilgrimage, blending fresh myths with hallowed callbacks, all without a single loose thread. Long-term devotees crown it peak because it perfected the sequel's promise, honouring what came before while forging ahead, a bridge no later game fully recrossed. Scarlet and Violet sprint through vast Paldea, but Johto invites you to savour the stride. Sword and Shield lay a gala in spectacle, yet lack that intimate return to roots. Gold and Silver, through Heart Gold and Soul Silver's lens, deliver closure that feels earned, a narrative loop where growth mirrors the clock's hands. As the credits fade, it gaze upward from New Barktown's grassy knoll. Stars wheel overhead, crisp against the velvet night, the same canopy that watched your first steps 3 years after Kanto's fall. Professor Oak's words echo faint. Every journey begins here, under these lights, and in Johto's embrace it never truly ends. The Pokédex hums softly. Beasts unseen still roam. Legends whisper from towers and ruins. You've conquered gyms and ghosts, tamed time itself. But tomorrow, Elm's door creaks open again. Cyndaquil's ember flickers anew. Rest now, trainer. The path awaits at dawn. What did you think of this journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this changed your perspective or taught you something new, consider subscribing for more mind-expanding content. And if you know someone who would find this as fascinating as you did, share it with them. These are the kind of conversations that matter.